guys, it's Carnage6 back again with another review, and this time we have the Robocop figures by NECA. Now I wanted to wait to do this review, first of all because I'm a huge Robocop fan, it is my favorite movie of all time, and secondly I knew that NECA was making a whole bunch of variants of the Robocop figure, so I didn't want to do one review of each figure as it came out. I just wanted to review them all in one big review. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started. So in this review, I'm going to talk about first the normal Robocop figure, the battle damage Robocop figure, the Robocop figure with spring-loaded holster, and finally the Toys R Us exclusive glow-in-the-dark Robocop figure. I obviously don't have the packaging anymore, but if you want to see a picture of it, it looks like this. Well, obviously let's start off talking about the normal version. It looks fantastic. A great representation of Robocop as he was seen in the movies. As you can see, he does come with his gun, which is cool. But he doesn't have a place to store the gun. Usually in the movie he would store the gun in his leg, if you didn't know. But NECA solved that problem a little bit later on, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. Now the one cool thing is that not only does he have his normal right hand to hold the gun, but if you take it and, see if I can do this. You don't want to break it. Pop it off like that. He comes with a data spike hand. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know that. He used this to interface with the computer as well as, well, in some other creative ways too. But if you haven't seen the movie, I won't spoil it. And if I can get it on, too, it's going. Hold on a second. Alright, finally got it on, if it will focus. As you can see, that is pretty cool. Okay, and now for the articulation. I'm only going to do this part once because all four figures are the same mold, so the articulation on all of them is going to be pretty much the same. So let's get started here. The head can spin 360 around. It goes forward and back, side to side a little bit. The arm has some in and out movement here. This spins 360. The elbow has a bit of a bend. You can bend it a little bit. Not much, but it's okay. And the wrist turns 360. Now the top of the figure has a joint which kind of goes up and down. It goes side to side a little bit, but not much. I can't get mine to go side to side that much. But there's a little bit of up and down movement there at the top of the chest. The waist does spin 360. The legs, again, there's some in and out movement there. The leg does spin 360. The knee does bend, as you can see. The toe, or the foot, I should say, it only bends forward and back. But you can see this piston as you move it, it goes in and out. That was kind of the same thing as the McFarlane figure. So pretty cool articulation there. So next up is the battle damage Robocop figure. I'm not going to go into too much detail about him because, again, he's basically the same sculpt as the original, just they've added extra battle damage details on him, so why don't I just show you all the details. Now next we have probably the weirdest variation. Well, it's not weird if you know the history of Robocop figures, but for the average person, it is kind of weird. And this is the Toys R Us exclusive glow-in-the-dark figure. Now, what makes this figure so special is that it is kind of a, I don't know how you'd say, reimagining of a figure that they offered way back in the 80s when when the Kenner figures first came out. And even the packaging of this figure is made to look like the vintage Kenner figure, which is really cool. Now, I really like the idea of it, but they kind of failed in a couple of ways, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But first, as you can see, it's the exact same mold as the other Robocop figures. It's just all, well, the silver parts are all glow-in-the-dark material. Now, if you don't know the inspiration for this figure, let me just fill you in. There was a mail-away figure in the original Robocop line that you sent away for, and it was called Night Fighter Robocop. I think that's the correct term. And it was basically a glow-in-the-dark Robocop figure, except it had a Gatling gun on one arm, and it kind of looked a little bit like this. Now, as you can see, they reproduced the glow-in-the-dark part, but the thing that gets me is that they did not produce the Gatling gun part, which kind of makes it a little bit of a fail as far as trying to make it like the vintage figure, and they really had no reason to, because this arm, as I've shown you before, is removable, and well, all the figures come with the exact same accessories. He does come with the data spike, and again, it's just like the other ones, except the tip is glow-in-the-dark this time. But now my question is, why couldn't they have, instead of making a whole new arm, which would have cost a lot, why couldn't they have just, instead of including this, why couldn't they have just made like a glow-in-the-dark Gatling gun attachment and stuck that on there? You know, then it would have been a perfect recreation. Well, not perfect, but more faithful to the original vintage figure that they were trying to go for. I don't know why they didn't do that. That was the one thing that kind of pissed me off about it. Basically, you just have a regular glow-in-the-dark Robocop figure, and it kind of a little bit misses the point of how the vintage figure was supposed to look. But otherwise, it's a cool figure. And finally, we come to what is, in my opinion, the best Robocop figure that NECA has released so far. Now, I know what you're saying. What's the big deal? It looks exactly like all the other ones. Well, you're right. It's the same mold, the same paint, looks the same, comes with a gun, comes with a data spike, just like all the other ones. But the coolest thing is that his gun can actually be stored on him in his leg. Again, if you're not familiar with Robocop, that was kind of the cool thing about Robocop, is that his gun was always stored in his leg. He could kind of pull it out whenever he needed it. So far, no figure has recreated that successfully, but I think this figure has finally done a worthy job. Alright, so now I'm going to try my best to demonstrate exactly how this works. As you can see, there's a little button on the back of his leg, and now if I can do this correctly, you just push up on it, and his holster kind of pops open. And you can have Robocop pull his gun out of his leg, just like in the movie. Now, to get it back in, the instructions recommend you just push on this front piece. You don't push on this. So we'll see how that works. So you push that like so, and it snaps back into place. And again, if you want to do it again, you just go like that. See? Now that is friggin' genius. I love that so much. Alright, so what do I think about these guys? Again, I'm a huge Robocop fan, so I'm a little bit biased. I'm really excited that we got Robocop figures and such a great variety of them. They're all really well sculpted. They all come with appropriate accessories. Starting from the left, the glow-in-the-dark one, I love the fact that they're trying to replicate the vintage figure. As I said, I don't think they quite succeeded in that, but it's still a cool figure. If you're going to buy it, I'd say only buy it if you love glow-in-the-dark figures or if you're a nutty Robocop fan like me. Otherwise, you could probably pass on that. And then we'll go two over on the right to the battle damage one. Again, it looks cool. If you want a battle damage Robocop, this is basically the one to get. I'm, on the fence about it. I like having it as part of the display. At least it's a little bit different than the standard Robocop figure. The only thing I really kind of don't like is the fact that for the battle damage figure, that they did not make his helmet removable. But I'm pretty sure that has to do with the likeness rights, and I don't think Peter Weller would sign off on his rights. So we're kind of stuck with this, or we'd have to have a face that doesn't look like Peter Weller. I wish he'd reconsider and make a deal so we could get a proper battle damaged Robocop figure. Until then, again, if you want a battle damaged Robocop figure, go for it. If not, pass. Next, we're going to move to the regular figure on the very right. It is good. It was fantastic for when it first came out. I love it. The sculpting, it looks great. It looks like just like the iconic Robocop that you'd expect. However, now we're going to move a little bit to the left, and that is the Robocop figure with the spring-loaded action. Now, not only do you get the fantastic sculpt of the original version and all the accessories that the original version had, but you also get the cool spring-loaded action feature, which replicates how he would store his gun in the movie, and that puts it above all the other Robocop figures I've featured here. So if you're looking for that one iconic Robocop figure, I would say go with this guy right here, the spring-loaded Robocop figure. It is the best out of all of them. Now, I kind of still like the look of the McFarlane figure a little bit better, the actual look of it a little bit better than these NECA ones, but NECA's not far behind. So that's about all I have to say about these figures. I hope you like my review. If you have any questions, comments, post them below, post a video response, and I will be more than happy to get back to you. So until next time, I'll see ya.